Well, we are called to order. We have all members of council and our quorum is established. I wish you all a great day in Kershaw County and a great day in this All-America County. We are called to order, and I call on Councilman Tom Gardner to lead us in the invocation and pledge. Would you please stand? Thank you.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you again for this day. We thank you for the wonderful fall temperatures that we have the last few days, and we look forward to those in the upcoming days. We thank you for Kershaw County and what a wonderful place it is to live. We ask now that you would guide us as we do our county's business, grant us wisdom and discernment as we make those decisions to make our county better. Lead, guide, and direct us in all that we do. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Gardner. We move now to public comments. I turn to our attorney to see if we got anybody signed up.
We have one person signed up, Donna Pushnick.
Ms. Donna Cushman, please come on up. We normally limit it to about 5 minutes. This is not a time for us to have a question and answer, but just to listen. Please, Ms. Cushman, go ahead.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and council members. I'm here to a little bit congratulate the fact that this is the second year in a row that council has kept the millage down. Last year, it really reduced it down and shifted in between accounts to keep it at, except for EMS. It was added at 5.0. This year, I have two things. One, first of all, on the millage side, it could be a typo. EMS is 5.1. Last year was 5.0. Not a big deal. The other thing that I have an issue with is that the millage is staying the same, but yet it really, when you look at the bottom line, when you get your taxes, there's more on the form than just the millage. There's the fees, and in the previous year of 2016, which I liked much better, your billing process, and you must have upgraded last year or thinking it was an upgrade. In my opinion, it's not. In 2016, it was very nicely broken out, okay? In that, we had our school taxes and such, we had our sewer, we had our special, and then you had your solid waste. This year, solid waste is kind of like I have read and haven't heard even when I was at the meetings as to how much solid waste is going to be this year. Okay? Started out at 55, went to 80, and it went to 55, I don't know, 2 years ago, whatever, and that was because you had it rolled up in general funds and then you needed to take it out, understandable. So, the only thing I have to say now is that on my report and on my statement, now they're going to come out, but in 2017, it wasn't there. It wasn't listed. And I understand 3/4 of the American people, everybody looks at the bottom line. How much did it change? I look at more than the bottom line. And I want to know the differences. 2017 tax thing, there is no indication of any of my credits. Number one, the credit that we get for the 1% for the sales tax, it's not listed. The credit for my fact that I'm over 65 and I get that reduction, it's not listed. But yet, the bottom line is what it is. It's that number, okay? So that's one of my main gripes that I have. And then the other situation is that you break it down, but you have special. You have, we call it special programs or special whatevers. The sewer is sewer. And then there's the capital and ENMS. But then somehow under the special thing and under your general, you have general 65.8, and then you have 6.7. Well, you have to add the two together. but it doesn't really tell a whole lot to get it. Because like on my 2016, it was 64.20. 2017, oddly enough, guess what? All I have is a dollar value. It doesn't tell me the millage. It doesn't give me that millage times my appraised value equals dollars. That's what I want to see, and I'm not seeing it. Now, that's my situation. And I would hope you would change your program so you could be more transparent in what you're billing us for, and to put out and let us know how much the waste management is going to be. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Cushman. Mr. DeBose.
That's she's the only person signed up, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. That concludes public comments. We move now to a public hearing in regard to an ordinance by Kershaw County Council setting the millage rate for Kershaw County for the fiscal year beginning 1 July 2018. That millage rate remains the same as 2017. And with that, we open the public hearing period for the millage rate for the year going forward.
You can go again.
You're certainly welcome to come back up, Ms. Cushman. Well, sorry, ma'am, but we've moved beyond that. Let me clarify. No, ma'am, it doesn't. It's up on the agenda here. Well, yeah, and we were delighted you came. I would tell you, just to short circuit our normal processes, just to make it clear, the idea about discussing the storage containers has been sent to the Planning and Zoning Committee, and our clerk here, Mary, can tell you when they'll be talking about that, okay? Is that helpful? Well, we've already moved beyond public comments, and we're now on an open hearing. We'll be happy to talk to you afterwards, but the forum for bringing that input is certainly welcome to the Planning and Zoning Committee that meets in these spaces, and I think probably the beginning of November. We'll get you the date, okay? Yes, ma'am. Delighted. Any other comments on the millage ordinance? Thank you, ma'am, for your understanding, and everyone else. Seeing there are no comments, we'll close the public hearing and move on to the next item. We have the adoption of the agenda is shown. The agenda is up on the screen as it has been since the start. Can we have a motion to approve the agenda as written?
So moved.
Mr. Gardner, a second?
Second.
Second from Mr. Arledge. Any discussion of the agenda?
Mr. Chairman, if I
Yeah,
may.
Mr. Jones, go right ahead.
Thank you. Under new business, I'd like to make an amendment where it says discussion and possible vote to place ordinances online to be taken off.
Okay. And can you give a reason on that, Jimmy?
The money has been found.
Yeah, it's in.
It was indicated to me it was not in the budget, but today it has been indicated that it is.
Yeah, we just kind of need to get on with it, don't we?
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
I'll second that.
Yeah, okay. We have a second from Mr. Connell. Any discussion? Seeing there is no discussion, we have an amendment to remove item number 1 under new business. All those in favor signify by raising your hand. And it's done. Can we have a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
So moved.
Mr. Gardner, a second?
Second.
Second from Mr. Arledge. Discussion? Again, thank you, Mr. Jones, for pointing that out. We do have the money. We just need to get on with it. With that, I'll move to a vote. All those in favor signify by raising your hand. And it's unanimous, and that item is removed on Mr. Jones' request. We move now to approval of minutes. That's at tab A, and it's shown on the screen. Let me just get mine up. May we have a motion to approve the minutes as written?
So made.
Mr. Connell, a second?
Second.
Second from Mr. Tucker. Any discussion on the minutes?
Mr. Chairman, I will abstain. I was not here last meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Mr. Jones wishes to abstain. We can move now to a vote. All those in favor signify by raising your hand. and it's unanimous with Mr. Jones abstaining and approved.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Mary, we move now to a proclamation. Pull it up. It's a proclamation for the National Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Week. It's at tab B. Allow me to read it, and then we'll take a vote. A resolution to express the intention of Kershaw County to cause Kershaw County to be, nope, that's the wrong one, boy. Yeah, that would have been good. National Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Week. Whereas for the past several years, the National Coalition for the Homeless and National Student Campaign Against Hunger and Homelessness have sponsored National Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Week. And whereas the purpose of the proclamation is to educate the public about the many reasons people are hungry and homeless, including the shortage of affordable housing in Kershaw County for very low-income residents, and to encourage support for homeless assistance service providers, as well as community service provider opportunities for students and school service organizations. And whereas there are many organizations committed to sheltering, providing supported services, as well as meals and food supplies to the homeless, including the United Way, New Day on Mill, Transitional Homeless Shelter, Mount Moriah Soup Kitchen, Food for the Soul Soup Kitchen and Emergency Shelter, Christian Community Ministries, Community of Hope Food Bank, Sacks of Love, and the very many churches with food pantries, and the Kershaw County Housing Partnership and all its members. Whereas the Kershaw County Council recognizes that hunger and homelessness continues to be a serious problem for many individuals and families in Kershaw County. Whereas the intent of National Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Week is consistent with the activities of the Kershaw County Housing Partnership. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Kershaw County Council hereby proclaim the week of November 11th through the 18th as National Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Week. And be it further resolved that Kershaw County Council encourage all citizens to recognize that many people do not have housing and need support from our citizens and private and public nonprofit service entities. May we have a motion to approve the resolution?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion for the proclamation of the National Hunger and Homeless Awareness Week of November the 11th through the 18th, 2018.
Thank you, Mr. Tucker. A second?
Second.
Second from Mr. Gardner. Any discussion?
Quick comment.
Mr. Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the council. Since you named the Food for Soul, I'd just like to say that I tip my hat to them. I knew an individual that got down on their luck, lost everything. Food for Soul not only took him, but they helped him get his feet back on the ground. So it's a very worthwhile cause. Thank you.
Other comments? Mr. Tucker.
Yes, sir. I would just like to thank all of the individuals and organizations that was mentioned, but I want to give a bit of gratitude to Mount Moriah Soup Kitchen, who has been in existence for 35 years, that I actually went to the banquet this past weekend. And they've been doing it for a long time with little means and little help and no help from the government entity, just the people in the community and private businesses. So kudos to all, but I just wanted to give a special recognition to them.
Thank you. Other comments? It's what makes us a great county, because everyone pitches in. With that, I think we can move to a vote. All those in favor signify by raising your hand. Mary, no surprise, this worthwhile event is certainly approved. If I could ask Dave Snodgrass, Hesse Pitterkin, and Maurice Shehorn, if they're here, to come up.
Some of our members of our delegation got there on time.
Thank you very much. With that, we move to the next item on the agenda, which is a resolution to express the intention of Kershaw County to cause Kershaw County to be reimbursed with the proceeds of tax-exempt obligations for certain costs associated with sewer projects and other matters related thereto. It's at tab C, and up on the screen, Mr. Carpenter, can you introduce the topic?
Mr. Chairman, members of council, the last several weeks, we've had 2 work sessions with council related to improvements on the county sewer system. This is the first step in that process. This is a reimbursement resolution that would allow any expenses that are incurred currently to be reimbursed from any future bonds that may be issued.
And this is one reading of this.
Yes, sir.
Of this. It is only necessary. With that, let's have a motion to approve the resolution.
So made.
Mr. Bozard, a second.
Second.
Second from Mr. Arledge. Discussion. Seeing there is none, we move quickly to a vote. All those in favor signify by raising your hand. And it's unanimous and passes on the reading.
Mr. Chair,
Yeah.
can I point out, we're not out of order, but just a point of order. I think we've had 3 more people from the homeless to show up just a few minutes ago.
Oh,
And
hey.
I think it would be only appropriate that we retake that picture
All right.
to have it correctly represented. So-
All right, David, if you got a smile, come on up. Ma'am, would y'all please come up, Marie and everybody? All right, this time we'll get it.
Come to the center. That would be Central Time.
All right, we have now moved to the series of ordinances. It's the third reading of an ordinance setting the millage rate for Kershaw County for the fiscal year beginning 1 July 2018 at tab D, for which we have just had a public hearing. With that, Mr. Carpenter, introduce the topic, and we'll move to a vote.
Mr. Chairman, members of council, you have before you tonight 3rd reading of the ordinance that sets officially the millage rate for Kershaw County. We previously had the public hearing as required by law. This has been notified in the newspaper in front of council tonight for approval on 3rd reading.
Very good, thank you. With that, can we have a motion to approve the millage?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make the motion on the ordinance for the 3rd reading, setting the millage for Kershaw County for the year 2018-2019.
Very good. A second?
Second that.
For Mr. Connell, got a second? And any discussion?
Just want to say, Mr. Chairman, if it's okay, that thank you to our staff, our administrator, and this council for fighting through this year's budget. Once again, a lot of disagreements, but overall, we came to consensus and to a vote to where we could be responsible representation of Kershaw County, and we have no millage increase, as Ms. Cushman said earlier. So
Very
fine
good.
job.
Very good. Other comments? Okay, well, very good then. I think we can move to a vote. All those in favor of the millage rate for Kershaw County, please signify by raising your hand. And it passes unanimously after much work. Thank you to everybody. Thank you. Move now to new business. The item remaining is a bid approval for renovating former CCTC space to office space in the Government Center. That's at tab E. Can you open that topic for us, Mr. Carpenter?
Mr. Chairman, members of council, part of the budget, council authorized us to begin renovating this building, with the first step being the space downstairs that was previously occupied by Central Carolina. When they moved out, there's several thousand square feet of space below us. We had estimated costs. There's several stages to the overall project. This is stage 1. It's to completely renovate the downstairs space. to allow us to move our public safety functions down there and our IT department into secure space that we can harden. So it'll be our EMS, it'll be our fire, it'll be our emergency preparedness, our code enforcement. Will be downstairs along with our IT departments, as well as a secure space and storage for medicines, drugs that EMS uses. The bid, as you can see in front of you, several were received. The low bid was from First Class Construction for $171,982. Staff recommends the awarding of the bid to First Class Construction.
Very good. Can we have a motion to award to First Class Construction the bid for the renovation of our CCTC space in the Government Center?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, Mr. Tucker, a second?
Second.
Second from Mr. Arledge. Any discussion?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, sure, Ben.
I'd just like to ask Mr. Carpenter, how many square feet does that open up for us downstairs?
What was that?
What was it?
10,000.
10,000, okay.
10,000 square feet. Okay, that's all I had. Thank you.
Very good. Other comments?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Mr.
Mr.
Chairman.
Tucker.
Just, I know it might be a little hard to read on the screen there, but just wanted to make it clear that you see that Carolina Commercial Builders had a lower bid, but they didn't fulfill all 5 scopes. If I'm not correct, Mr. Carpenter, please
That's correct. They only bid on 2 phases of this project, and so they weren't consistent with what we were looking for, so they were disqualified.
Right, so just in case
Exactly.
someone's questioning that, of course, that's why First Class Construction, because that was for all the work.
Very useful. Thank you, sir. Other comments? Okay. Well, that's terrific. With all that having been said, we'll move now to a vote. All those in favor, First Class Construction, of the winning bid, signify by raising your hand. And it's unanimous and it's approved. We move now to council briefing, starting with Mr. Gardner.
No report.
Mr. Bozard.
No report.
Mr. Connell.
Just 2 things, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to recognize a Kershaw County School District teacher and student here, Mr. and Mrs. Wisenhunt. I don't know if they're here for scouts or otherwise, but it's good to see y'all here tonight, the Boy Scouts. Wonderful. Thanks for being here. And then also, for everybody on council, to the extent you're interested and you're feeling limber, wrestling season is almost underway.
Yes, that's right.
At Lugoff Elgin High School, they're going to have their first camp of the year, November 3rd, starting at 9 a.m. And we just encourage everybody in the community to come out. It's open to everyone in Kershaw County and surrounding areas. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Mr. Jones.
Yes, just a couple of things briefly, Mr. Chairman. First, I'd just like to say to Mr. Connell that my thoughts and prayers go with him. His sister-in-law passed away, and I know his brother-in-law extremely well. He's a current martial artist, has his own business and school in Columbia, and is quite accomplished in that. And 2 wonderful people. She'll certainly be missed. I just wanted you to know that, Ben.
Yeah, thank you, Jimmy.
All right. On another note, on August 1, 2018, I requested economic development information as to created new industrial jobs since 2012. On August 10, 2018, the administrator told me that he would compile as much information as he could in regard to new industrial jobs, but he was waiting for certain information from industries. At the August 23, 2018 council meeting, I requested that the Kershaw County Economic Development Office update and correct its website to indicate new actual industrial jobs added. During my briefing, I stated that what we have is a county department putting out information that the department knows it cannot verify. Since then, I have continually requested the correct information as to new industrial jobs. I have been continually told that I did not have the right numbers by some of my own colleagues on county council. In fact, I was given a sheet by the Kershaw County Administrator which indicated since 2012, $313 million in announced investments and the announced creation of 724 jobs. This was the same information that the Kershaw County website as to announced expansions of new jobs. As late as October 19, 2018, I asked the administration if they had any additional information as to my request. The administration indicated to me they did not have any additional information pertaining to prospects and things with economic development. To my total amazement, late on October 19th, 2018, I checked the Kershaw County Economic Development Office website and found that they had deleted HIRE's 2015 announced expansion of $72 million and the addition of 410 jobs. I was told this website was changed within the last couple of weeks, although I requested it to be corrected on August 23rd, 2018. Having 410 jobs and $72 million in investment disappear should be sobering. The Kershaw County Economic Development Office did not even give me the courtesy of telling me that they had corrected the website as a result of my efforts to have correct information given to the public. Unfortunately, I have been right about the lack of success in economic development. Unfortunately, I have been right about the extravagant Economic Development Office budget not leading to success. Unfortunately, I have been correct about the unnecessary $17.2 million economic development bond, which is not being spent, and most of the construction projects are not being done. Unfortunately, I was right about incorrect information on the Kershaw County Economic Development website, which has been on there for years and only was corrected about 2 weeks ago as a result of my efforts. Danny, would you put that on the overhead projector for me, please? Oh, you got it up there. Of course, you can see what was put on the website, what was on there before and what's on there now. I want everybody to understand that I do not enjoy being correct about all of this. What I am disappointed in is a lack of economic success by Kershaw County and Kershaw County not giving the public correct information. As I have repeatedly said, Kershaw County can be successful in marketing its mega site through the Department of Commerce. But Kershaw County's present economic development plan is not successful. If you'll also, I just want to point out one thing. Let me find my pointer. Okay. Right there, locations and expansions, right here. That was what was on the original website, updated here. And there was a little clause put in there, all announcement information is provided to Kershaw County by our industrial partners. So there's a little clause in there now that wasn't in there before. But if you also look at what was there, 275 million, 555 jobs, then what was put on there within the last couple of weeks, 135.5 million and 145 jobs. Folks, we're going in the wrong direction. I've offered a solution, a very workable solution that will work. And I think when things are not working, and it's been 7 to 8 years, it's time to make a change. Mr. Chairman, members of County Council, thank you for the time.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Mr. Arledge.
Yes, sir. I would like to recognize those that came in a little late, but the proclamation that we made for National Homelessness and Hunger Awareness. Thank you for coming. We appreciate all the efforts that you do. That's all I have.
Mr. Tucker.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Couple of quick things. First, I don't know if this is all the county schools, but I know Camden, the games have been changed from Thursday, Friday to Wednesday, Thursday, due to some of the weather that's coming in. So if you're a football fan, make sure you get out and go watch your family, friends, and neighbors play sports. And once again, I think Dennis has said it. I said it earlier. I thank Mount Moriah for the 35th year of celebrating and doing good work for this community, this county, and all of the other entities as well. That concludes my report.
Thank you, and I'll be very brief. First of all, as Mr. Jones and all of us know, yesterday's home run won't win the next ball game you play. We got to keep playing every day, and I want you to know that that is an unremitting resolve that I have to continue to move forward on economic development. Secondly, in that regard, each of you have been provided, and the media has been provided, a copy of the survey that starts the next budget cycle This survey will close in December and then be presented to council at the retreat to give us a view from the population. And it has been shared widely on social media and elsewhere, and the school district and all the media have it now, to be completed by the end of December. That will be collated, brought into the county council at a retreat, and it will help us in our budget process. There's nothing like constructive feedback, good and bad, and that's what we're all about. Thirdly, I think it's okay for me to mention that in your package is an FYI on the Alpha Center. I'd ask you to look at it. If you have any questions, take it up with Ken DeBose, who has suggested that the ordinance that we currently have on the Alpha Center is about 35 years and one opioid crisis out of date. I think that would be a summation of why that needs to be revisited, and we'll hear back more from that at the next council meeting. Fourthly, an election's coming up, vote. Even for those where they're unopposed members, the participation in a democracy is absolutely essential, and this republic stands or falls by the participation of its people. Lastly, I'd ask you to all remember a friend of the county and a friend of many of those up here. Bobby Jones died a year ago, and if you have an opportunity to express condolences to the widow, Dr. Mary Jones, who continues in his spirit of public spiritness, please do so. A little later on, we'll hear from our attorney about an executive session. Over to you, to Mr. Carpenter.
Mr. Chairman, members of council, a few items for you tonight. First of all, I'd like to recognize some of our county employees and their recent efforts that they've been done. You see up in front of you members of our detention center staff. On the 19th and 20th of October, our staff officers from the detention center participated in the Tip-A-Cop event at FATS in Camden. The purpose of this was to collect tips that were donated for their serving tables. All proceeds were then provided to the Special Olympics of South Carolina. So this is a statewide event. We participated a number of years in this, and there were those smiling faces of Kershaw County employees out there working on behalf of Special Olympics. Also, Mr. Chairman, members of council, we participated in the in a training. What you see, members of our EMS, it's a tech training, TECC. It's essentially tactical combat triage skills that are, unfortunately, in the era we live in, are skills that are no longer limited to battlefields, but are found in urban areas. So our staff is part of what is called ASHER training, which is the civilian counterpart to the tech training in the military. So you see members of our EMS staff training representatives of various entities throughout Kershaw County as part of a process that will ultimately lead to a full-on training and preparation of all those departments to deal with such issues, God forbid, if they ever come to Kershaw County. Also, members of council, when you get done with this meeting, if you have the opportunity to go out the front door, you'll see our new ambulances. Out there, members of county staff are there. They'll be glad to let you in to see it, to not turn on the sirens, but to observe and see where we are with technology and ambulance these days.
Can we let our young scout go out there and do that?
Still no sirens, but
Can't turn the siren on?
he is welcome to get into the vehicle as well. So hopefully everybody will have a chance to get out there and take a look at our newest equipment. That now puts us to a fleet of 6 ambulances that Kershaw County has purchased for our EMS service since we were put into the situation of taking ownership and responsibility of that service. Mr. Chairman, you did mention Election Day, November 2nd. That is also a county holiday.
November what?
6th.
Sorry, November 6th.
Yes.
Thank you.
Sorry. So November 6th, every election day, every other year, it is a county holiday, so county offices will be closed, but all precincts will be open, of course. Also, because that is also the date of the Planning and Zoning Commission, they have changed their date to November 5th. So the meeting will be November 5th for
Ms. Cushman?
to come in if she wishes to address them. And, Mr. Chairman, that's my report.
All right. For our attorney?
Mr. Chairman, I would like an executive session in regard to the agenda item status update and legal briefing, Camden Jet Center versus Kershaw County litigation.
Very good. With that, can we have a motion to move into executive session?
Mr. Chair, make a motion for us to go into executive session for a legal briefing for the Camden Jet Center and Kershaw County litigation.
Please forgive me. Is a vote required afterwards?
We might have a vote afterwards, yes.
With the potential to return, can you just?
Potential to return
Yes.
for a vote.
I can include that in my motion, that way it may be a potential vote afterwards.
My fault. Thank you. A second?
I'll second that.
Second, we have before us a motion to adjourn for executive session with the potential to return in here for a vote. Any further discussion? No, there is none. We'll move to a vote. All those in favor of adjourning for the executive session signify by raising your hand. And it's unanimous, and we are adjourned temporarily. Dean, do we have a motion to return from executive session?
So made.
Mr. Bozard, a second? Second from Mr. Gardner. There being no discussion, let's move to a vote. All those in favor signify by raising your hand. And now I'll entertain a motion from Mr. Tucker on the topic previously announced.
Mr. Chairman, at this moment, I would like to make a motion from executive session. I hereby move that the proffer of settlement by Camden Jet Center Incorporated as to the case of the Camden Jet Center Incorporated versus Kershaw County, civil case number 2013 CP 28676, and the case of, in the case of the Camden Jet Center and Kershaw County, civil case number 2014 CP 28856, to be accepted, and Kershaw County agrees to pay a total of $350,000 to the Camden Jet Center Incorporated, of which $200,000 will be paid within 30 days of ratification, and an additional $150,000 be paid by August 1st, 2019, in exchange for the Camden Jet Center Incorporated agreeing to the amount, to that the $857,000 judgment, including attorney fees and costs and interest against the county, be satisfied, and settlement of all the issues in the above captioned case, and that they all be dismissed against the county. That it is further authorized that the county attorney, together with the county administrator and the chairman, negotiate either into and execute any final settlement documents. That further, the county administrator, in conjunction with the county attorney, in conjunction with the county administrator, is authorized to do all the acts necessary to effectuate the settlement, and the chairman of county council is authorized to execute all necessary documents to effectuate the settlement of these cases against the county. That is my long motion.
Can we have a second?
Second.
Second from Mr. Bozard. Discussion?
Ms. Mayor, you have a comment.
Mr. Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the County Council. Discussion, Camden Jet Center settlement. The settlement that has been proposed is more than I think the county should pay. I have issues as to how this case has been handled since 2012. It could have been settled for a lot less 4 years ago, as I recommended at that time. However, under the circumstances, I believe the county needs to settle the case and move on. The county has an $857,000 judgment against it and 2 cases pending. Settling the case under the proposal is making the best of a bad situation that we should never have been in. But it is what it is. And so I am voting to accept the settlement as proposed. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Mr. Tucker.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to state that this will not cause us to be over budget or have funds where, where we have to raise any fees or millage, that this money will be taken out of our reserves. And the other part, since it will be not due until after our fiscal year, then we would appropriately budget that in our 19-20 budget cycle.
Mr. DeBose, do you want to finalize any further discussion here?
No, Mr. Chairman, I'll decline to comment at this time. As the motion says, it gives the parameter, but it also indicates that the final documents haven't been negotiated yet.
So the final documents are awaiting this vote. Further discussion? See, there is none. Let's move to a vote. All those in favor signify by raising your hand. And it's unanimous and approved. With that, I think there being no further matters before us, can we have a motion to adjourn?
So move. Second.
Who had the first?
Gardner.
Mr. Gardner, a second from Mr. Tucker. Discussion? Remember to get out and vote. All those in favor signify by raising your hand. And we are adjourned. Thank you, gentlemen.